This is years ago.
Robert, it's your turn to fall in the water.
You can avoid it. I'm trying to avoid it. It'll be refreshing. Alright. Good one.
Caillou qu'il y avait là.
Ouais, il y en a un tantôt là. Je l'ai vu trop tard, mais j'ai passé juste au-dessus. Il y a pas de monde. Allez à droite.
Nice long stride or you're going to end up exhausting yourself. You're doing a lot of paddling and you're not moving forward nearly as much as the effort you're putting in. So instead of paddling so often, do a nice long stroke, fully submerge that paddle just like this, pull back just past your hip. Notice I'm paddling half as much as you, but I'm moving quicker than you. So avoid these little shallow paddles. You can end up wiping yourself out. Really use your feet to be able to steer for you. You don't have to paddle multiple times on one side. Yeah, that's going to help you out quite a bit. If your head starts to get hot, you dip your hat in the water, put it back on your head. I do that pretty frequently through this area. Yep, dip your hands in through your wrist. It's a good cooling point. Ocean and earth. Yeah, got it.
When they weren't controlling the river, do you know how high it would get through here?
If they weren't controlling it,
Right, before the dam.
it would vary with rain.
Right.
So very inconsistent. It would drop way lower than this, and it would also go way higher.
Yeah, I was just wondering how far underwater we'd be.
I bet it would probably go up to the top of this little ridge right here. And then it would probably drop another 10 feet additionally lower than this. I'm sure since it was very rapidy, there was areas here that were incredibly shallow.
Right.
Particularly in this region. This is called the Ringbolt Rapids because there's ring bolts pounded into the rock walls that steam engine ships making their way to the Hoover Dam would have to winch themselves forward on
Oh my gosh.
because their engines couldn't motor against the current.
So they'd actually pull themselves up.
Yep, they'd have to drag themselves up.
How would you get yourself onto the next?
That's a mystery that I've been trying to figure out for a long time. I'm like, once you're on the one, how do you get to the next one?
You have somebody whose job it is to come downriver and hand you the next line.
Bloke. Jump on out there with this hook. This is a beautiful area where you're going to see some really nice green glowing water and light refraction against the rock. So you can come in and kind of do a loop right around that outside wall. This is an amazing area. It's a little wetland up top. Very important to bighorn sheep as well as our local amphibians, such as our endangered leopard frog. Because this is not a vernal pool, it never dries up. And take note of the color of the algae here. This is a cold water spring. You come right to the dripping here, this is really nice. You'll notice above my head that tamarisk root reaching down, trying to get into the river. Once it drops a little lower too, later in the year, it's a great swimming spot. We'll stay a little bit warmer in this cold than the rest of the river. Ready? Vamos out. We're adapting. With you?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh my gosh. a nice little cold water spring in there.
I always forget it, and then I'll have like my guests go pop in. I need a little drink.
Give me a little look this way. Get your boat on there. There you go.
You guys doing okay? Very good. Water right here is beautiful.
Do the rams grunt? I thought I heard one earlier. I couldn't think of what else it would be.
Run, huh? Yeah, I wish I heard that. Probably know right away if I heard it. I mean, they literally make the sound of a goat. But that being said, they have different...
Yeah, that wasn't it.
Yeah, they have different vocalizations.
I would have swore it was an alligator if I wasn't in the middle of the desert.
Oh, your Florida PTSD can leave behind you. Nice, once we get to our lunch spot, the bulk of the tour will be behind us. Just this section can be a little daunting. You have to think of happy thoughts. People tend to fall apart in this section. I love it, it's peaceful, but it is unrelenting. When you get fatigued or you're new at this, you're having a discomfort, really that starts to take your...
Yeah, if you're not used to paddling.
Yep. That's a good mental fortitude.
Like I said, I thought I was prepared and I did that 20 miles and I was like, okay.
And you're like, what am I?
I could do it. Did I want to do it?
Yeah.
No, this is a nice, easy, intermediate paddle at best. You're not fighting wakes or waves or... It's just point your boat downriver and go. Most of this river, you don't even need a fish finder. You just go, oh, there's a fish.
I know. Great depiction of that erosion taking place out here.
What's that?
Are you retired?
No, I've got another 20 years.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
What do you do for work? Don't mind me asking.
I'm an architect.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's not manual labor, thank goodness, but sitting in a chair can be debilitating.
Because I know there's like a lot of different forms of being an architect, but are you making things on the computer?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Visit sites, record the information, existing buildings, that sort of thing.
Right.
And then you draw the demolition plans, new plans,
Yep.
essentially instructions for the contractor to get his permit. Then the contractor does what he wants.
Yeah, my girlfriend was kind of doing that. She was doing maps for land surveying and property deeds and AutoCAD or whatever.
Yep.
She's looking for work now. She hasn't been able to find anything in a couple months. Been living off just my income, which is not boastful to say the least.
Well, I'm part of an architecture group on Facebook, and there's a ton of work out there. So I
On an
can,
architect group?
yeah, so I can give that to you and see if you can.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah, that'd be very helpful. Out here, the job market is not keeping up with the influx of people.
Yeah, I mean, as it is, sometimes if I'm overloaded, I'll even hire somebody out of India.
Wow. Yeah, she's super intelligent. She's really good on the computer. But not any luck out here. She wasn't working remotely. They did layoffs and they laid off the remote workers. Now it's been about 2 months. She's applied to, I think, 33 jobs. Yeah. One response, which was just a denial. The other 32 didn't even respond.
That's rough. I had a period like that. You just feel like a useless tool.
Yeah, I can tell.
You're like, I could do so much, and
I
I'm
know.
sitting here with my thumb up my butt.
I see it's beating her down.
It's hard.
emotionally. Her self-worth has been challenged for sure.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
it's a difficult thing to get so trained and be so good at what you do, and then
She's good. She's good at what she does. But I don't know. I feel bad though. I see it. She's wearing it the past couple weeks. She's down in the dumps.
yeah, and there's a lot of people who aren't, ready to hire someone who just want, pick somebody up on a job by job basis.
Yeah.
So it's really just a matter of connecting with the people.
Alright guys, good job. We're getting pretty close now. In a few moments you'll be able to see our lunch spot, which will give you a little second win. There's a neat little arch you can be able to see on the right, just above the water. It's actually hard to see because the brown rock's right behind it.
Yeah, about 9 years ago, my wife just wanted to get out of Florida. And I said, all right, so we made a list of the places where we wanted to move. And then we landed on Seattle. But all of my work is still in Florida.
Oh, wow.
So I go back about every 6 weeks for a week, meet with people, go to sites, take measurements, and then I work for 6 weeks from my desk in Seattle.
Interesting. I know what she was doing too. She was employed, so from Florida. She's from Tampa.
Yep.
And when she moved here, she was remote.
Yeah, Florida never slows down.
No, the development there is so
I'd like to say it was recession-proof, but back in 2009, 2010 with the housing crash, that that was a rough period.
How's it going?
And how are you?
Good. Were you heading to the springs?
I'm hoping I'm trying to find the falls.
Fall.
That's what Dragon's Back, though, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yup, so Arizona Hot Spring will be on your right side. It'll be probably in a mile and a half or so, 2 miles.
Yeah, it's one of the funny things. You hear about people retiring and you get so jealous. It's like, oh, it feels like I've been working so long, but there's still so far to go.
Ah, that's a horrible feeling. I've been feeling that burnout a little bit lately myself, actually, this past week. I've come to the conclusion, I go, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You
Doesn't matter what you're doing.
I could be letting go of sea turtles every day, and after like a few years, you'd be like, oh.
Isn't there something else?
Another sea turtle.
We used to joke around because I would get together with a group of engineers that I was familiar with. And, you know, we'd have some beers on a Friday. And inevitably the discussion would be, there's got to be a better way to, to make a living. But everybody does that.
It'd be nice if there was some passive way to do it. You didn't have to be so present in the physical.
Right. Well, it used to be real estate. So you would basically get loans, get a bunch of properties, and then rent those out and get some passive income off it. But what happened is 2009, 2010, those people got wrecked because all of a sudden people weren't paying their rents. They couldn't cover all the mortgages they had out. And their passive income became a passive anchor.
Yeah.
But it was great for like 8 years.
Definitely. Yeah, that would be ideal. I have a little Etsy I mess around with. I use my photography and stuff, but you're talking pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, at that point, you're really just trying to pay for the equipment to have fun. Trust me, I know.
I'm like, if it pays for the groceries a week, I'd be really happy, but not happening. The goal is to make my own touring service, but a lot more self-guided, like kayak rentals and stuff.
Right.
So I can step back a little bit, but ideally I want to make something really successful and then probably flip it and sell it after 5-10 years.
Yeah, if you can become an outfitter in some place, it's always nice.
Yeah, near my hometown is a really good spot. Tons of paddling locations and no providers there.
Yeah, we were talking about Florida being too flat to, you know, get out and do stuff. That's one of the nice things in the Pacific Northwest. There's so much to see.
Man, that area's beautiful.
You know, you go from Canada all the way down to the redwoods in California. It's just amazing.
It's an incredible area. That
Camping in the redwoods was one of my favorite things.
really?
Yeah, it was really pretty badass.
Yeah, we're trying to get to Sequoia in the next couple of weeks. I know it's not quite the redwoods, but it's a haul for us either way. Alright guys, I can see our lunch spot off in the distance on the right. There's a large semicircle, triangular shaped rock with green bushes in front of it. That's our spot.
Yeah, what killed us early on was financial aid for college. Between the two of us, we had $100,000 at the time.
Oh my God.
We paid for like 17 years, paid something like, $280,000 on a $100,000 loan.
Holy shit.
And after 17 years, it was like at $98,000.
Wow, literally spinning your tires.
It was really frustrating.
That is brutal.
We had to sell a house, use the equity from the house, pay off that
To get out of your student loan debt?
to get out of the student loan debt, and then just bought a place.
Man, I feel sometimes I'm like, man, I want to go to college. Then I'm like, you know what, dude?
If you can pay for it while you're doing it, that's great.
Yeah.
But
I can't. I don't like the feeling of debt. I don't like that shackle.
And when I was going to school, I thought, everybody said student loans have very low interest. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I didn't even realize they had interest.
I didn't even pay attention. Mine and my wife's were both at a little over 7%.
Man,
That just killed us.
crush you.
Yeah. So the first $7,000 a year pays for nothing.
That is very frustrating. I've always saw myself as someone who's not going to go to college and I'm going to make a business on my own. And I've had that feeling in my early 20s, and it has not gone away. It has amplified, exasperated itself. It's become now like an immovable object now in my early 30s.
Well, that's what you need as a goal.
Where I'm like, I know exactly what I need to do. And everyone else in my family, same thing. No college, they all open businesses. My brother has a very successful restaurant that he opened 2 years ago. And he's doing very good for himself. My father opened an exotic bird shop in our backyard. Crushed it for 33 years.
Wow.
My other brother, Chris, he made a hobby shop. Electrical cars, RC planes, all kinds of weird stuff. And I'm like, damn, dude, you're doing good.
Yeah, no, in high school they said, you're supposed to know what you want to do with the rest of your life, and I didn't.
Yeah, no way. Give me a break.
I had taken a single drafting class, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, you know what? I want to be my own boss someday. And to be an architect, all you really need is a computer.
Yeah.
And you.
True. Overhead is minimal.
So the overhead is minimal, and then I set that course and stuck with it. I call it the bullshit endurance test.
Know what to do, what you want to do in high school. Even in college, give me a break. Man, I was a half-cocked goddamn moron until I was 26 years old.
Wow.
I had no idea. I still, to this day, I see something, I do it once, I'm like, oh, I could probably do this. And I realize that I get pumped out. I like to change it up. I do.
That's one of the nice things about architecture, unless you get pigeonholed into one little thing.
Yeah.
Every day is different. My first mentor told me, he said, don't stick to a single project type. Have a bunch of different oars in the water all over the place.
Nice.
That way, if the residential market goes away, you still got commercial market goes away, you got something else working.
Yep. Never put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, one basket can be lucrative, but when it goes away fast.
All right, guys, we're gonna make it. Aha. Yeah, I have back where I'm from in upstate New York, I mapped out like a touring company. I have like 7 different paddling destinations, 6 different really good hikes that I can do guided. And like I said, very little competition. So I kind of tooled around with it, and I was going to open something out here. I actually LLC'd my own company out here. And I realized that the market is heavily saturated here at Willow Beach in particular. So I'm going to sit on that LLC, and maybe I'll partner up with my good friend and he can manage this one while I go make the one in New York.
That's rough. You really have to trust somebody.
What was that?
When you partner up, you really have to trust somebody.
Yeah, it's always bad news.
It's a tough thing. Finding somebody that you morally agree with and is honest is...
It's just about near impossible.
Yeah. A few years ago, I met 2 guys who had a company already, and their architect was leaving. And it's really been... I've been blessed that way. They've been amazing to work with. Everybody works together to solve problems.
Nice. Yeah, I have one buddy out here that we've tested the waters, and you know, we're both pretty confident in our diplomacy and way we handle things. I'm sure we can make it work, and the good news is we would be away from each other half of the year. I would be in upstate, and then I would fall back over here. We'll see. My goal would be to open, you know those pink Jeep tours?
Yeah. I just took one.
I want something like that.
Yeah.
I want something nationwide, like in every hot spot. I want to offer either rentals or touring. All right, this is home for a little bit. Take a break, eat some lunch, set some shade. Feel free to bring your life jacket with you to use to sit on so you're not sitting on the rocks.